Hey everyone, I'm here today taking a look at the new Mattel Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Dino Escape Ceratosaurus with Raw Attack. Here's the packaging. Now in packaging the dinosaur's tail is actually not attached, so once you've taken out the packaging and put the tail on you can't fit the dinosaur back in, but the tail is kind of behind this bit of cardboard here. Then you see the main body of the dinosaur there, and then in the background it's that new packaging with the broken fencing, all the mountains and jungle in the background. Quite nice. And then you've got the Carnotaurus Toro there and Darius in the bottom corner, and on the back it just shows the dinosaur and the action feature, as well as a Baryonyx and Bumpy the Ankylosaurus down there that are also available in the line. And then here's the Ceratosaurus. It's a really nice design. Really like the way this looks. You've got articulation in the tail there, which will swivel all the way around, and as I say, this tail isn't attached, so you have to just pop it in when you get it out of the packaging. Then the legs go forward and backwards independently of each other, so you can get some good poses of it standing in a more upright position or bending down, kind of sniffing along the ground like that. And the legs swivel out to the sides a little bit as well. Got that pivot that goes kind of in and out like that. Then the arms will go out to the sides like that, as well as forward and backwards. Those, go all the way around like that. So, the average kind of articulation that we see with these dinosaurs. But the new feature with this, which is really cool, is that instead of having a button that you press down to make the mouth open and then it springs shut, or vice versa, sometimes the mouth would always be hanging open and you'd press the button and it'd make the mouth close as the dinosaur roars. On this, there's a button that slides forward and backwards, and on the old ones it meant that you couldn't get the mouth to pose open or closed unless you kind of jammed something in there to pry it open or pry it kind of hold it closed. But with this, because of the way they've designed it now, you press the button forward once and it opens the mouth a little bit and it gives a little bit of a roar. Push the button forward a second time and the mouth opens wider and it roars for longer. And then on the last one, when the mouth is wide open, it roars for even longer. So the roars correspond to how wide the mouth is open, which is really clever. And then you can have it posed basically however you want, with the mouth a little bit open, quite wide open, or really wide open. The only problem with that is that it does leave a bit of an indentation on the back of the dinosaur where the button slides forward and backwards there. So you can see that's what it looks like, and it almost looks like there's raw flesh underneath there, but I think it's actually just supposed to be red that matches the rest of the colour here, but it almost looks like there is a hole in the dinosaur and you can see kind of the bloody flesh underneath. But on there you can see it's got the brown pattern as well, that kind of grey brown, so it is just to blend in with the skin. But yeah, it does mean there's always this kind of gap on the top there, which isn't ideal, but I'm not sure how else they could have done this gimmick. But I do like that it does now mean that we can have the dinosaurs posed with the mouth open or closed however you want, and you still get the electronic feature. It's got some really nice patterning to it. It's got the red head that I think, if you think of a Jurassic Park Ceratosaurus, you think of it having a red head. I wouldn't want it to be any other way, but it is still different from the last release. So you've got that red head with just a bit of the dark grey, and it's almost a metallic gunmetal grey on the side of the face there, but then it's a more darker grey along the back with those stripes, with also the red kind of fading into a much lighter grey on the underside. And then you've got some of that grey on the leg there as well. So there's a nice amount of paint detail with all the spots and stripes on there, as well as the red fading in. Then on the underside it's quite bare, but it's quite light, and you've got the hole for the speaker and everything. None of the nails are painted on the hands, which I don't think looks too bad on this. I don't think it really stands out that much. Would have been kind of nice to have had the nails on the feet painted. And then the tail isn't painted at all either. The red blending kind of stops just before you get to the tail, but it doesn't look out of place either. It doesn't look like it's missing paint necessarily on the tail. I think the way they've blended it looks quite natural. And here it is with the first release Ceratosaurus, and you can see how different they are, but I like that they are similar enough that they still look part of the same species. They're not completely different colours. They've both still got the red head, which I think you really have to have for a Jurassic Park Ceratosaurus. They've still got the kind of very dark grey stripes along the back, where the red also goes down, but whereas that one's almost a very yellowy colour, it's kind of a sandy yellowy colour for the main body, this one's that light grey. They do look good together. They're also in quite a different pose. This one's a bit more upright standing, whereas the new one is leaning down a lot more, kind of like the T-Rex tends to stand a lot. Also, you can see the hands on the new one are kind of hanging down, whereas the hands on the original one were facing each other inwards more. Quite a smooth tongue, there's still a bit of detailing in there, it's quite nice. And then there's the inside of the original's mouth, which had a lighter tongue than the new one. It's almost got a bit of a purpley tongue and inner mouth. You can see the differences in the heads, where that new one has a lot more of that grey, almost gunmetal grey paint job on the face, whereas on the original it was completely red. The red's also a bit darker on the new one as well than on the original. See, the original has a lot more paint detail on the tail than the new one. I think the original one actually does have more paint detailing going down the body. The original Ceratosaurus had almost the same articulation, except for the tail didn't have as much, it only sort of swiveled around, which never looked right. It just had that kind of swivel joint there, so the only way to move it would break up the sculpt and it just looked weird. It didn't have that nice articulation that the new one has, where it will sort of move all around there and still it doesn't break the sculpt up and it looks nice and natural. I also used to have a lot of trouble getting the original Ceratosaurus to stand up. Like, whenever I'd have it on a flat surface, it would always fall forward. So even here I'm having to kind of lean him on the new one. You see the difference with the buttons. On the original it was just a button that you press in once and it makes the mouth open. Whereas on the new one it's that switch that goes back and forward and clicks into place. Now to compare the roars. Almost sound like a T-Rex there. And with the original Ceratosaurus it was just the bottom jaw that would move, whereas on the new one the top of the head also goes up as well as the bottom of the jaw. I always like building up a species, so it's nice getting another Ceratosaurus finally, because it's been a while, and we did see one or two Ceratosauruses in Camp Cretaceous, so it makes sense to bring a new one out, and it is just nice seeing it get a bit more attention, because even when it appeared in Camp Cretaceous it didn't really do much, kind of like when it appeared in Jurassic Park 3, it didn't do much, it just kind of stood there. I don't know why poor old Ceratosaurus always gets short end of the stick in the franchise. So I'd like to see him do more. I doubt we'll see it in the new movie, but you never know. But at least we've got another toy of it, and it's a really nice one as well. There's the app codes for them both. So thanks for joining me for this look at the Mattel Ceratosauruses, the Roarivores and the new Roar Attack version. It's kind of a shame the new one didn't come with any of the Dino Escape gear, since he's part of the Dino Escape line. I'd like to have seen capture gear coming with all the new dinosaurs really, because it's such a cool feature to have. I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. It'd really help me out if you don't mind. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.